はい、宮古かけつ開幕おはよう Good morning or good evening, I don't know. Like what time zone is everyone in? I'm not sure myself. Not that it matters, but still, you know. So yeah, how is everyone doing? Actually, that reminds me, I should. Okay, never mind. But yeah, this is your Dark-Skinned Wolf Boy VTuber Rokuro, and I actually changed a bunch of stuff on my end. Mostly like the position of my mic, positioning of like, you know, my mixer and stuff, like physical position. But yeah, I hope everyone's doing all right, and I know it's like, Rokuro, aren't you supposed to like reach JLPT N4 level this week? I'm doing it next week. I'm doing like N4 level Japanese next week. But for now, I'm for this week, yeah, I'm just like continuing with the basic one, like the N5 level, you know. And yes, I'm enjoying myself some dinner. And it's actually like a dinner of what do you call it again? Greek yogurt. Okay, so yeah, if you actually decide to do stuff here, like comment and whatever, you'll see some changes. Like, don't worry. I did not like say I made changes for nothing, but but still. So yeah, with that, let's start our lesson, shall we? Oh. So I think I have my. Okay, is it like visible already? It should be. Okay, so I hope this isn't like too loud and stuff, like, or anything. Yeah, I know, like, I did like a lot of like I know the changes here are like kind of drastic, or I hope they're not too drastic, but still. I'm trying to like to confirm still what else, you know, is required. Nope, I think we should be good for now. I don't think I'll ever get used to the positioning of my mic. Because, you know, it feels like it's like in a weird spot. Oh, Razor for arigato. Thank you for coming. Then yeah, comments now flow like Nico Nico Doga. Yes, I got that too. Like try spamming, try spamming for a bit. Like, yep. And as usual, you know, my tablet has a background pic. And I guess the background pic this time is like the two hotties from Mahjong Souls. Says the person who doesn't play Mahjong Souls. Oh my god, like if my friend were to see me like this, like that friend of mine would have said like, not you again, like not playing the game. Hey, do I have to? Can't I just like revel in the dojins? Like, come on. Like, can't I just like revel in fan content instead, like in official merch, you know? Just as just as I've been doing since like, you know, Ensemble Stars, Megiddo 72, whatever. I'm like consuming some Greek yogurt, so Kore umai wa. Oh my god, this is like... So just a review of what we have learned on our previous Japanese lessons. From the previous week, we had a bunch of vocabulary, basically. So we had like a bunch of nouns, like, you know, as you may see here. So this is actually the first time like I'm introducing like kanji to our Japanese lessons now, because this is usually like, you know, how Japanese goes. Whether you learn Chinese or Japanese, you'll have to learn Chinese characters. I know, it's the illusion of choice, but still. Like, which set of like Chinese characters though depends on which Chinese are you using. And then because this is like a series of lessons where we're actually going for verbs, I have to introduce the two kinds, the two main categories of verbs, the u verbs and the ru verbs. And we have also the irregular verbs, which, you know, basically are the ones that don't fall into the two. And then we have adjectives. We'll get into like conjugating adjectives eventually, but for now, you don't have to do much about this. And then we have adverbs and other expressions. And last week actually is when we started, you know, conjugating verbs. Like, we have to transform verbs in order to make use of them, because we don't really just use a verb in its dictionary form. Spoiler, you can, but it's kind of rude. So don't. And that, you know, so since we got to learn how some basic conjugations for verbs, that leads us to our lesson for this week. Making our first Japanese sentences with actual action verbs, not just like the be verb this. As usual, I'm just like rewriting the file. So this is, I usually set the file name as this. What topic I taught, and the date today in Japan Standard Time. I know I know you're wondering, why is it 11:11? I'm using Japan time on my iPad. The rest though, my local time. I know, we bass. But before we actually start, between, you know, me offline and between like the stream last time and this current stream, I've had like followers. I'd like to recognize them first. So we've he's now JLPT N1 certified. And can actually hold the conversation in Japanese, deadass. Nanka yabai zo. But yeah, before that, I would like to recognize the new subscribers and followers that, you know, who followed me while I was offline. So first is Sonic Swaghog. Thank you for the follow. Yatta! Also, the rule still applies even on YouTube subscribers. And then for Twitch, thank you for the follow, Merker von Karstein. Yatta! And then lastly, thank you for the follow, Adria Antelia. Yatta! Oh my god, like is me going to Irium actually like a thing now? Like, you know what? I've been seriously considering Irium US now. Like, holy shit. But yeah, since I was offline, there were like 3 new followers. Well, 2 new followers and a subscriber on YouTube. Well, no shit, Sherlock, but that totals 3, and I have to howl the same amount, basically. So with that, let's howl 3 times. Let's go. The first one. Where's my reverb? There. Okay. Second one. And last one. Hi, ありがとうございます. Thank you. And with that, yeah, we are so learning Japanese today. So for those who want, who want their songs up, just use exclamation point SR and then space and then YouTube link. Okay, so since we've cleared out basically our vocabulary set last week, it's mostly just like grammar, and I'll introduce a bit of kanji. Okay. Oh, there. You know what? Sometimes, like, I realize I've been writing boompo so many times that, to the point that maybe at this point, you know how it's read, even without the hiragana. Even without, like, the furigana above, you know? Like, I hope so. So, remember like the verb conjugations from last week? So, the mas form and the masen form. So those are, we describe those as the present tense, right? So, let's go there first. Yatta! Okay, so the interesting thing in Japanese, like versus English, is that the basic tenses, like, in terms of like time, like the basic tenses are in Japanese are just like past or present. So I'll draw like a timeline of sorts. Not the best at all, but forgive me, I guess. in the English language, we usually have like the past, the present, and the future, right? That's what it feels like. But for Japanese, okay, there. You still have the past tense, sure. I wish I could draw here like a broken line, but I think I'll just have to like put in a line here instead. Yeah, something like this. What the? Sorry about that. So, the interesting is that in Japanese, the present and the future tenses in English fall under the present tense. All right? Okay, let me grab like a spoonful of yogurt. Of course, from last week, we called the tense, you know, we called the form like the present tense because yeah, we use the mas or masen for present action. Like for example, oh, kyo benkyou shimasu. I studied like today, you know? But the present tense can also be used not just to describe, you know, present action. So one example of like other uses of the present tense is habitual actions. How do I write this one? Oh, there. So let's have an example like under habitual action. So let's consider this example. Or you know what, like the drunkards we are, let's go with this. Don't worry, I'll put in the kana. Like, oh, Hamset-san, 来てくれてありがとう. Thank you for coming. With that, let me just put in the readings. Uh-oh. Oh, there. So, to prove like a point that, you know, we can... So you can use like a time noun, or in this case it becomes like an adverb, I guess. 毎晩お酒を飲みま私は毎晩お酒を飲みます So I drink sake every night. So note that we use the present tense here. Alright, this is just to like demonstrate the fact that the present tense can be used to describe a habitual action. So, 私は like as usual, we're just gonna describe ourselves like I, you know, 毎晩お酒を飲みます So 毎晩 in this case like brings home, you know, the fact that we do it regularly, you know, on a regular basis. So you can also like put in other, you know, adverbs here like yoku, so often, or you can say, oh, sometimes, so tokidoki. All right. And just a spoonful of Greek yogurt for me. This is like my dinner, basically. Of course, you can use the negative form of, you know, the present tense here. With this example, first, yeah. I'm thinking of like a good example without having to just rely on like the book. Like I know I'm not say so I'm like doing, you know, something. What am I even doing at this point? I don't want to like make it complicated as an example. Okay, I'll just sacrifice my name. What don't I use? Like, I don't. What is something I don't really do a lot? Hmm. I mean, I don't watch TV, so I guess that's it. Doesn't So we have this example. ろくろさんはあまりテレビを見ません。So ろくろさん doesn't watch. So hence the negative form. No? So 見る, right, is the base form, the dictionary form. And then what's the verb there? Because it's a ru verb, we get rid of ru and that's it. And then attach ません so that we have the negative form. And then あまり, it's from last week's vocabulary that means not much. Like we don't really do something very much or something, you know. Yeah, so I'm just presenting these two examples to drive home the point that, hey, present tense is also used to describe a habitual action. So what about this thing that I presented earlier? The fact that the present tense, like in English we have past, present, future, which makes sense. But for Japanese we have the past, and present and future is combined into present. So the present tense can also be used to describe future action. These kinds of like lessons are kind of fun if I think about it, like, you know. I guess it's the fact that I just stream, so the lecture feels like one-sided, and I don't have to like worry about noisy kids because every one of y'all are adults. So in a sense, I'm like teaching a bunch of like, you know, college kids, you know, some like basic Japanese, you know, for their foreign language elective or something. Like, watch me transform this into a Chinese class next year. 你好. Anyways, so let's have an example to drive home this point. At this point, I'm like, it feels like you already know what I'm about to type, well, or write. Hon means book. Can I not put okay, I'll put what the watashi here, okay. Okay, I know this wasn't part of the vocabulary last week, but hon means book. So erohon means an erotic book. Ehe. I mean, to be fair, Rokuro, why tomorrow, not today? Like, not after the stream, or literally not right now. じゃあ今エロ本読みますね。Okay, I'll read the doujin today then. Like right now? No. I'll get banned. Okay. So here's how it's spread. So 私は明日エロ本を読みます。I will read an erotic book tomorrow. I know. Like raises eyebrows like huh? Huh? Definitely not say so. よろしくお願いします。I feel like an idiot, you know, at times. But yeah, so we will like go with like another topic here, because like last time when we had this, you know, I did say something about these. Rokuro, what's with ni or e for kairu or iku? All for like a lot of others. Yes, so the next topic actually will deal with those characters. What do they do? And what are they called? And they're actually called particles. Or in Japanese, they're called joshi. So let's go back to this example earlier. 私は明日エロ本を読みます。So from this example alone, we can identify two particles here. First is this, and the other one is so So let's start off with the topic particle first. No. We'll describe the topic particle later because it's a bit. I mean, sure, we can put why here in passing, saying it's topic particle. It describes what are we talking about. Because in Japanese, the topic isn't necessarily the subject. And the subject in the sentence isn't necessarily the topic. Sorry, I had yogurt. But yeah, in English, we don't really make a distinction about the topic. It's usually just inferred, right? What we can see usually though is the subject. Right? We can always identify the subject. And English is actually built to demand a subject every sentence. Why do we say it's raining? Where in Japanese it just says ame desu. Ame means rain. So like ame desu, it's like where's the subject? But yeah, that's another like, kind of worms in a sense because like, English really demands a subject every time. Hence, we just fill it in with like it's, like it's raining, it's shining, or whatever. It's dead, just like my will to live, or something. I don't know. But yeah. So for Japanese, there is a separate distinction for the topic. For the purposes of beginners Japanese, it's usually the subject as well. Usually. Just usually. But not always, okay? We'll get into there next time, but not right now. But for now, let's focus on this. So in order to like link a noun or an object, whatever, with the verb, or sometimes indirect object with the verb, we use particles basically. It's not just that actually. It connects like certain nouns as well with like other forms of like words like adjectives. So they help identify the role of a word in a sentence, basically. Hence, they're called joshi. This is the first character means to help. This is the exact kanji for tasukete. Because these are hiragana or katakana. No, it's usually just hiragana. These are like, words sort of that help identify which one, which has which purpose. Which word has which purpose. So first off, so since we've clearly identified this one, so from the looks of it, like see, we have the verb here, right? And erotic book. So from the looks of it, this is like the object, correct? Read and then erotic book, right? It kind of clicks out. Although the funny thing is, it's mostly reversed. But yeah. So this particle right here is actually called the object mark, the object particle. And since that's like one of the things we've described here, we've seen here already, we'll discuss that one first. So in this case, actually, the object particle, you know, this is like, whoa, right? When we learned about hiragana, but this hiragana as the object particle is read as o. The W is silent, okay? So the object particle basically helps identify which one's the object. That's it, basically. Hence, it's called object particle. Just like in this example, whatever comes immediately before the object particle O is the object. And then whatever comes after, and like the first verb you see afterward is the verb that demands that object we have earlier. And I think you must be wondering, Rokuro, is it just me or the object came in first before the verb? But in English, the verb comes first before the object. Hence, we have like the SVDO, subject, verb, direct, object. In Japanese, I'm sorry, but this, that's how it feels like. I put the S in parentheses because the subject sometimes is optional. If you're just talking about yourself, I can get rid of this. If the subject is the speaker can just outright get rid of watashi wa. You can just say, ashita erohon yomimasu. You can say that, and that's like a perfectly valid Japanese sentence. In fact, putting watashi wa makes it feel unnatural for a lot of native speakers. Kind of funny, right? But yeah, so in English, we have the subject, verb, direct, object, SVDO. But for Japanese, we have S, DO, O, V. That's like the basic, you know. That's like what's the equivalent, you know, form in Japanese. You're noticing it's reverse. Yes, it is. And for a lot of stuff, in Japanese, it's reverse. For a lot of other stuff too, like bruh. Okay, let's go back to like some of the other verbs that we have introduced here. So see that I have here some, right? So Rokuro, iku is an action verb, right? Why doesn't it use o? Why do I have to use ni or e? How about kairu as well? Why is it not o? So why is the object marker not used for all action verbs? And that is the thing we'll be discussing right now. So up next, so let us go for E first. I'll just like rewrite this first in terms of like the particle first before the purpose. So the next one is E. So similar to O above, it's not really he in this case. The H becomes silent the moment you read this in a Japanese sentence with the clear function. I like as a particle. So the E particle indicates goal of movement. So basically, the rule here is for almost all of the action verbs we use o, and the exception being all verbs that involve location or movement. For example, the first two verbs that we have introduced, iku, to go, kairu, to go back or to return. And also the irregular verb kuru. Those are location verbs, right? Like movement verbs, location verbs. So those kinds of verbs will actually have to use e or ni. I'll discuss like the ni particle soon enough. For now, I'll just like list down the particles here. So, the good thing, the E part as a particle has only one purpose, and it's mostly like goal of movement. So, maybe I should put an example here. It should be fine if I put it here. So, for example, Razor-kun is going to Japan next year, right? Specifically, I guess Tokyo? I don't know. But let's just say Japan next year. So next year is Rainen. So let's have that example. So Razor-kun's name in Japanese is basically Reza. So let's go with that Japanese name. What's Re again? Yep. If you want like the actual like the full thing, Reza Fa. Yeah. But I usually call you Razor-kun, so it's fine. Reza-kun wa. Why do I use kun? Okay, here's another question. Why not san? That's another way of, referring to people. But san is the standard. Kun is less formal. And it's usually for either like little boys or boys or, people you're kind of closer to, you know? Not just like, oh, I met you just now. Hello, like, nice to meet you. No. Like either acquaintances, friends, peers, whatever. You can use could. Usually they're designated for men, but there are cases where they're used for women as well. Okay? Back to... So we have this example. Can I like cut it off here? I'll just put it in the next line. Alright, so as we see here, Reza-kun wa rainen Nihon e ikimasu. So Razor is going to Japan next. So ikimasu is, yes, it is an action verb, but specifically, it is a movement verb, right? Like spatial movement. Hence, we use either ni or e, which in this case I just use e because it's the immediate one we just introduced. So in this case, our object will be the destination, Nihon, right? So raiden is next year, you know? Okay, so any questions so far?
Yeah.
So I've been mentioning I can use either e or ni here. So does that mean ni also means goal of movement? So let me just have that as our third article. Well, yes. One is goal of movement. So it's basically the same as ni. So earlier. So you can substitute e for ni and you still have the same fucking sentence. So you can say, Reza-kun wa rainen Nihon ni ikimasu. And that's still perfectly valid. But the verb ni as a particle can also be used for other things. It's not just the goal of movement. So another purpose of ni is time. So this is so we can connect basically a time adverb with the object. Okay? Let me just like get a scoop of yogurt. Nom nom. I know, like movement in space time, like ooh. I'll put in an example later on, like in a bit. Wait, hold on. In English, there are like several kinds of adverbs, right? There you have like no, never mind. So besides goal of movement, ni can also be used for adverbs of time, and in general. Also for a lot of adverbs. Like even for adverbs of what do you call it again? I forgot, but for this a lot of adverbs bit, it'll take a while for me to be able to explain why. Because this involves turning adjectives into adverbs. On which we're not even introducing adjectives yet. So this is like for next time though. So I'll erase this for now. So for now, let's focus on time. The thing here is, in order for us to be able to use ni to indicate time, that time period has to be specific. Why? For example here, レイザー君は来年日本へ行きます。We have a time here, but where's the need? For vague time references such as yesterday, today, tomorrow, next week, last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever, like next year, last year, a lot of those other stuff as well. For those with like vague, you know, vague or at least like relative time references, you don't put in the need. They don't need it. So you can say, last year, no need. Next year, no need. This year, no need. But if you'll be specifying a certain date or a certain time or a certain week of a day of the week, then we'll have to put in ni. So let's have this example. Oh my god, I felt like an actual professor explaining shit. Oh my god. What is happening? Like, bro. Rokuro actually like explaining stuff. Oh my god. I know. Too bad. I think you can change like the color of your font. I think the command is like exclamation point color and then put in the hex code, whatever. Okay, so let's have this example. I mean, I can set it for like globally, but you can, I think you can set individually, like for yourself. Like right now, the global setting is like white. Okay, yeah, this one, honestly, I forgot to consider it because I've been considering, you know, I've been testing this like kind of like comment with wuthering waves. So the entire atmosphere was dark, so the white will actually work there, but apparently not here. Oh, good morning, comrade. Oh, ohayou gozaimasu. Oh, we're actually learning Japanese. Like, see this? Like, no, legit. I know it says just chatting. Of course, like, I'm chatting. Like, sure. Yeah, I think. Color and hex code. Yeah. Oh my god, we're having ads in like 10 seconds. So for those who are affected by ads... Okay, I hope that works. I hope. Because we're having ads in a few moments. So let's call an ad break here. Yes, handwritten ad break. Oh no, I'm sorry. But yeah. To be fair, the East Asian languages are really, you know, are not really related to any of the other languages in the world. So if you know English, you basically have to start as a baby when you learn Japanese. The only difference is that when you memorize words, when you remember words, just have the proper translation of your vocabulary, and that translation becomes your anchor. That's basically it. But for like a lot of other stuff, you really have to like learn from scratch. Hence, you know, I'm teaching Japanese from scratch. This one, how do I know like the order of this? I'm not, this is not a paid ad. This is not a paid ad. This is not paid. Because I'm using it right now. I've been using it. I'm using it still. And I will be using it for the foreseeable future. It's that, you know. It's that good of like a resource. And Mr. Moose Cakes, thank you for the follow. Arigatou gozaimasu. So yeah, with that, because, you know, I'm a wolf boy VTuber, I have this thing where I howl for every follower I get. So yeah, because you follow, thank you so much. I am obliged to howl like a wolf. Okay, with that, okay. Let's go. Se no. Hi, do datta. Like, I'm not, this is not pre-recorded. If you want, if you want, there's an actual reveal there, redeem there that says like howl, like make Rokuro howl. Yep, it's me doing it every time. So if I get like 10 howls, vaya con Dios. But yeah, I think for my other resources, I have this. Just for like a perspective, you know, for iOS users, this is what I use. Imiwa. If you're like an advanced like Japanese learner, if you already know like how Japanese works kinda in a certain extent, we have I use Weblio as well. Kokogo Jiten. And then this is just like for some stuff. Ego on the web, EOW. Sorry, A0 on the web, like whatever. But yeah, I think there's like an equivalent for Imiwa on iOS that's for the Android. I'm not sure what it is. Because the last time I've had an Android phone was 8 years ago. Kinda sad, but okay. So yeah, with that, ad break is over. So I still haven't like considered like the sentence for this one. Can I just like finish my Greek yogurt? You know the funny thing is? No, I'm not. It's just that I also learned Japanese from scratch. Which leads to the question, I guess, what's like my current level of Japanese? To the point that even the Japanese thought I'm Japanese. ちょっと笑えるもんね。はい、レベル的にはね、日本人すら、日本人だと思わせるほどの。知らんけど。It's more of like, since I went through like the same struggles of learning Japanese as a foreign language, in a sense, I've had like my own insights, you know, this is like my own takes and insights. So that actually, like, you know, that brings me to like my opinion of like teaching a language, that native speakers actually do not make good teachers of a language. For one reason, if you're a native speaker, you would immediately, there are like a lot of things, a lot of nuances of the language that you have taken for granted because it felt natural to you. It's like, how do you like teach English to someone? Like, we just accepted a lot of things as it. Oh damn, polyglot. Oh my god. I mean, to be fair, like, if you're European, which I guess you are, I'm not sure which one though, chances are you're a polyglot. Like, if you're European, chances are, yeah. Particularly if your like ancestry as a European is like mixed. Like one half is, you know, German ancestry, for example, other like is French, for example. Chances are both parents will drill you into like learning their own respective languages. And they'll both shame you if you don't. Like, tell me I'm wrong. Or you know. Huh? Oh my god. Wait, hold on. I lost myself back there. Like, what? Like, my assumption now is that your college degree may have been like linguistics or something related to like European languages, because that amount, like that number of like languages under your belt would not be possible if you have any other major, at least in there, because I don't know, but Oh, well, enough of assumptions. Assumptions. It makes an ass out of you and me. So let's not do that. Shinai ko. Okay, so I've been putting off having an example for ni as a particle to indicate time. Okay, you know what? Since I can't really like put in so unsafe stuff here without having to like introduce the word, you know? Oh! Okay, this is a specific place. I forgot the other one. Like, I'll have to like check. Oh, there. Okay, got it. No, like, hold on. Okay, let me just like put in the English equivalent. Sorry, I'm currently like staring at my screen writing, so I'll confirm the chat in a bit. That okay, you know what is fun with speaking Russian? It's like reading English backwards. That reminds me of like a joke by, was it like Trevor Noah? Yeah. For some reason, I was immediately reminded of that when he made like a skit about like the Russians. The Russians. Like maybe Russian would have been like a fun language to learn. Have I not started learning Chinese? Okay, so let's read this. 日曜日に新宿2丁目に行きます. So, as I mentioned earlier, if the subject is the speaker can omit the subject. So, it's like, 私は, I don't have to say that anymore. 日曜日に新宿2丁目に行きます. So what is 新宿2丁目? Let's and it's a lot of them. It's that part of Shinjuku with a lot of those. Or just like anything in general, you know? Oh no, not the German. Yeah. Like for some reason, there are like two words that got stuck in my head. Like two German words. Krankenwagen and Krankenhaus. Which kind of makes sense. Because one is like, what does Kranken mean though? Like, is it like, does it mean like sick? If it is, then it makes sense that the hospital is called Krankenhaus because, you know, it's the house for the sick. And then similarly, Krankenwagen, you know, a car for the sick, you know. But I don't know the other one. Which just made me realize right now, there's a certain similarity between Japanese and German. And that's in how certain words are formed. Like in Japanese, there's what we call jukugo. Shucks, I forgot how it's written. Hold on. Oh, there. So in Japanese, there's what's called jukugo, where it's basically a word comprising of several Chinese characters. So for example, this word itself is a jukugo because it comprises of two Chinese characters, but it's just one word per se. Ah, なるほど. Alright, so going back to you know, this example. 日曜日に新宿2丁目に行きます. So, as I mentioned earlier, we have to attach ni as like, you know, for the adverbs of time if it's like a certain day, like on the 25th, for example, a certain hour, or a certain day of the week. For example, this 日曜日に新宿2丁目に行きます. You can change this. Instead of 日曜日, you can say 明日. Now, if I say 明日, I would have to get rid of ni because it's a relative. It's basically a relative time, you know, reference. Ah, Esa ni, yaha, 来てくれてありがとう. Yuki ni, yaha. Thank you for coming. I know, the example feels wild. For those who know Shinjuku ni Chome, but yeah, you can, yeah, I already explained it. Like, oh my god. But yeah, so we'll touch on the topic marker next time. Next time. Like seriously, because these two markers or you know, or particles, I'll just list them here for reference, but these two particles deserve their own entire discussions because of how convoluted they can get. So don't worry about these two for now. So for now, to simplify stuff, we'll just say, the subject is something like with what? For now. For now. Because we're currently dealing with just like a monologue or a dialogue, just one or two sentences at best. Oh my god, I'm already tired from like that discussion. You know what? Speaking of time, let's go to our next topic actually for the grammar, which is time reference. Aria. これはいけないですね。Funny because like I got to explain this coincidentally earlier. So as I mentioned earlier, for days of the week, like on Sunday, on Monday, on Tuesday, whatever, numerical time expressions, like such as a specific month, specific day, specific hour, you will need to attach the time reference particle ni afterwards. So let's have this example. Okay, ito. I think I've introduced like the kanji for like the first 10 numbers, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So just in case, I'll be putting, furigana as well. So, 1. 8時に起きます。8時に起きます。I get up at 8 o'clock. 8時, 8 o'clock. So, since this is a numerical value, a numerical time expression, the ni particle is required afterwards. So how about for, for time references that are relative to the present? Or, relative. So it's not just actually like relative. Yeah, it's also relative to the present or anything relative in general, Ashita, kino, kyo. Also stuff like next year, Rainen. Last year, Kyonen. Senshu, last week. Raishu, next week. So on and so forth. Those do not want the ni particle. You don't put in any ni particle afterwards. So let's have this example. What's a good example? Have I introduced cow? Probably not. So let's avoid that. Huh. I'm thinking of like a good example that's like kind of, you know, my brand, which is like unsay so. Like say so, what's that? You know what? Let's not overcomplicate things. I'll just go for this. I can have like another example either way. Raishu, yeah, quite simple. So Raishu is next week. So Raishu kaerimasu. I will go back next week. Where to? I did not say anything, but I will go back to somewhere. So see the lack of ni in here? Also, for the question word, itsu, you don't need ni. So example, let's have this for example. When are you coming? Itsu kimasu ka? So you don't say itsu ni, no. Also same approach here. You just say itsukimasu ka? Even for like habitual, you know, mainichi, maiba, maiasa, whatever. So you can actually say for example, where was that? There. Maiba osake o nomimasu. If you notice here, I did not put a ni particle after maiban because it doesn't want the ni particle. Okay? There are others though. There are others where the ni is optional. Optional. You can put in, you can also not put it in. Although usually, you know, for example, how about like a time period in the day? So for example, how about like in the morning? Okay, chat. What do you do in the morning? This is like a good question now. Chat, what do you do in the morning? Okay, my covenanters. I call my chat covenanters. Or in Japanese, meiyakusha. I know, kind of like, woo. Okay, what do you do in the morning? Quick survey. I want answers. I want answers right now. お願いします。答えてください。回答お願いします。So, okay, so... okay, 朝寝坊します。二度寝します。Okay, so you sleep again. Okay, 二度寝。Okay, any other responses? Yeah, definitely 二度寝。But what's the English of 二度寝? Because it's... Let me check. I understand like 二度寝, but like how do you translate it to English? 草。いい加減。This is... This is like not really a good one, I guess. Okay, okay. 朝に二度寝します。So for like times of the day, or like, you know, in the morning, at night, in the afternoon, at noon, whatever, or even like the word for weekend, Not like specific like Sunday or Saturday. The weekend. Or the weekday. Yes, that also counts. That also counts. Weekday or weekend. And then parts of the day. The ni is optional. I put in parentheses here to basically indicate that I can read ni. I can also not. I can also ignore ni. So asa ni nido ne shimasu. Or I guess in this case, so that it rolls off the tongue better. Asa nido ne shimasu. I sleep again in the morning. I mean, same. It's getting cold here. Like, bruh. Yada na. Sasaga ni beddo detaku nai wa. Like, when it's getting cold, I don't really want to like get out of bed. It's too cold. Like, yada. Ugh. Like, ugh. Brother, ugh. What's that? What's that, brother? Or something, I don't know. Oh yeah, just for reference, what does week if there's weekend, you know, shumatsu, what is weekday in Japanese? Heijitsu. Okay. That's what weekday is in Japanese. Just like fun fact. Oh my god, I feel tired already, like having to explain all of this. Oh my god. Okay, so are we good so far? We Gucci? We Gucci? Huh? Okay, so let's proceed to like the next one, because you know these three so far have been more of like understanding a bit more about how we construct sentences, like simple sentences in Japanese. So let's go for like a practical one one practical application of the present tense. Oh. So this, what do you call it? Grammar form is usually to invite someone to do something. Yeah, that's basically how it works. So let's have an example, a practical example of this. Like, what have you noticed here? Masen, and then ka. Isn't this like the negative form of the present tense? And then ka is like the question particle, like we put in at the end to indicate a question. If you think, you know, if that's what you're thinking, then you're absolutely correct. So like here in Japanese, like this form, masen ka, it's basically asking someone, hey, don't you want to do this? you know. So let's have an example. Oh my god, I can see in your faces the horror. I guess what makes, you know, my Japanese lessons interesting in a way is all of these examples are sus. Like say so is you know, thrown off the drain. Like whoom, wee or something, I don't know. Okay, I know it's kind of long. 今晩ホテルに行きませんか? Will you go to the hotel with me tonight? I know, wink wink. So how do you make use of ませんか? So just remember, this is basically your negative form of the present tense. So 行きません. So from the base word 行く, right? I'm sorry, but the word 行く now means something else for me. My brain is so corrupted, I can't. For context, 行く is another way of saying come. But yeah. That didn't come from me, okay? I did not say shit, okay? Anyway, so from the base, from the dictionary form, 行く, right? I got lazy at writing. So 行く to go to the, what do you call it again? The negative form of the present tense. Remember, the base, the dictionary form ends in an U, right? It's always the U vowel. So we'll have to convert that into the E vowel. So we have iki, right? So that becomes iki. And then add either mas for affirmative or masen for negative, right? So ikimasen and then add ka. Okay. So to invite someone to do something with you, usually you go for the I know sussy baka. So you go for the negative form of the present tense and then add ka. So in this case, from iku to ikimasen ka. So the full sentence would be, once more, 今晩ホテルに行きませんか? Okay. Do you want another example? I mean, sure. Oh, あれ? I was wondering why I stopped like being able to write, and then I realized it's the eraser that's active, not really the pen. So like, okay, Rokuro. Ito. What's like a good... Okay, let's go with this. Yeah, it's my tablet starting to get laggy and stuff. Ugh. So let's have this example. Matcha iceを食べませんか? Would you eat matcha ice cream with me? So yeah, this is matcha basically. This is how it's written in Japanese. So yeah, this particular grammatical pattern is quite straightforward, you know? Something masen ka? Like, don't you want? Do you want? Would you like to do this something with me usually? So yeah, that should be it for today. Or would you like me to introduce some more kanji? Do you want me to introduce some kanji for today? So that next time, whenever we finish, you know, the rest of the patterns, the grammatical patterns for this particular lesson, we don't have to like I don't have to like introduce like a lot. Like, I will split like the introduction to like kanji into like parts so that I will introduce like more frequently, but you know, less, you know, small frequent introductions basically. Just give me like a few moments, okay? I'm just like looking for the thing. Okay. If I recall correctly, I have introduced our first kanji somewhere. Here. So we introduced like basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 100,000 and 10,000. Because we've been introducing like numbers already here, right? So I'll introduce maybe 5 to 7 characters just for today. So that when we introduce more next time in 2 weeks, I think, yeah, we don't have to like introduce like the whole 14. I low-key don't like this. Okay, kanji. So, or in Chinese, this is Hanzi. Literally meaning the characters of the Han Dynasty. I think in simplified Chinese, this part becomes... yeah. But the Mandarin I'm actually learning is the Taiwanese Mandarin. So if anything, our like whenever we write like Chinese characters, it's actually kind of like this. Yeah, the traditional Chinese. Like for example, if I want to like write the kanji for country, for Japanese it's this. For Taiwan, for the traditional Chinese, it's this. Yeah, more fun stuff. Okay, so let's go. Let's start off with this. With this character, which means circle or yen. So this is how it's written. Okay, let me try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. So for example, if we have this word, ugh. So in this case, 100yen, or it could be like 1000yen. So something numerical value and then n, which means 100 yen. I'll just like shortcut it like this, you know? I'm a bit... no. Let me put it here. Or by itself, if you just say like n, by itself it just means circle. So if a numerical value, if a number is attached to it, that automatically becomes the Japanese currency, the Japanese yen. So for example, これいくらですか? How much is this? You can say, これは1000円となります. So this will be 1000 yen. Okay? So with that, let's go to our next kanji. This kanji means time. So we have like 3 parts basically. Let me like first write the entire thing. There. So we have like 3 parts. So you can split the thing into like something like this. So you have the day on the left. You have this. So that's part 1. You know what? I'll just like put 1, 2, 3. So the first one would be this. Second would be 1, 2, 3. And then the third part would be 1, 2. Hence, if you combine these 3 together, you'll have, so part 1, part 2, part 3. Okay? So this is either like time or hour. So For example, we have if we want to like specify a time, like what time of the day. Kuji. So Kuji means 9 o'clock. You know what? Since we have like an ad break coming up soon, let's have another example. Okay, or watch. Note that okay applies to both of them. This is one of those words where I can't really split, you know, because it's either toki or ji, right? There's still toki in here, so this is like one of those like relatively like special readings. So if you see these two kanji, note that the pronunciation for both of these and not separate would be toke. Okay? So before we continue, ad break. So since it's like ad break, you know, anything nice so far? So any like questions so far? Let me just like finish off my Greek yogurt. 美味しかった。はい。グリークヨーグルトごちそうさまでした。And I haven't drank any water like tonight, so hold on. Ah! 美味しかった。So yeah, so far how is everyone doing? I know this is like quite the, you know, quite the ordeal, I guess. Like having to learn a new language, like the struggle. I mean, to be fair, it took me 8 years to learn Japanese. But then considering, you know, it's not really like straight up formally learning Japanese now. I only like formally learned Japanese on my first 2 years of learning. No, sorry, first 3 years. The rest, self-study. I'm like kind of tired, not gonna lie. Like sometimes I just want to like decompress and stuff. Like after the stream, I'll definitely decompress. And funny enough, like I just got back from the gym, like quickly took like some Greek yogurt with me, and then started streaming. Like I actually ate like a bit more yogurt earlier, But yeah, considering, I just went to the gym before the stream. Stinky! 臭いな、ろくろ。ろくろかなり臭いですね。誰が言った Anyways. Like, for kanji, honestly, you're better off learning kanji through vocabulary than just like learning kanji themselves. Like, you'll just like realize the onyomi, kunyomi as you like get exposed to more examples, like more vocabulary, instead of like having to memorize the onyomi and kunyomi. You're better off like, yeah. Okay, of course, like, let's have like the third example, which is, what if it's just like the kanji by itself? How is it read? Yeah, if it's by itself, it's just toki, which means time. And probably have another example. So tokidoki means sometimes. So yeah. So that's it for the kanji for time. So let me introduce probably like a few more. So let's introduce the third one. This means day or sun. Yep, so it's a box. Don't close it yet. Put in that horizontal first before you close. Okay? And this is actually like the thing you write on the left here. Yeah. So by itself, it's just heat. Heat, which means day. Or sometimes it's just like the sun. So, for example, if you say he like as like a certain day, yeah, it becomes like day. But no shit, Sherlock. So another one. Nihon. Nihon is, well, yep. Okay, so let's have like another one. Uh-oh. Yep, it's definitely lagging. Nikki. Nikki, which means diary. Ah! Snoony! Ohio! Thank you for coming, Snoony! Yeah, yep, we're at currently Kanji. Yep. Aw, thank you, Snoony! You know what? Maybe I should like change like the color of my comment. Like the global color is white, so it's like really a bad match for today's stream, which is like white space. Bruh. Aw, thank you, Snoony. Thank you for coming too. Okay, another one. So another word would be... This feels like two birds in one stone though. So this next one. Oh, I shouldn't have written in blue. Oh, that was an undertaking and a half. Okay, so I guess a last example for this kanji, I guess, is Nichiyobi, which means Sunday. So notice that this word alone has demonstrated like two different readings for this kanji for day or sun. So one is Nichi, and the other one is Bi. Which is basically like, these are basically the same. It's just like, there's like a special rule here. And then B is just like, he, but with diacritical marks. Yeah, just like something interesting, I guess. So that should be it for this kanji. Let's move on to the next one. Let's not introduce too much. So let's stop at 3 more. So I'll introduce like 3 more. So this next kanji means book or basis, so I'll write it down. Got it? Yeah, I think I may have like written so much to the point that my iPad is like starting to not be responsive at times. God, like one of these days I should get a new tablet. Oh yeah, I remember a Razer Kun's like suggestion to me to just get like a cheap pen tab. I should take that into consideration too. Okay, so by itself actually, this kanji, yeah, I it feels like this method of like teaching Japanese is kind of fun in itself, like in a sense, because I get to like write live, you know? Yeah. But then I'm also considering like upgrading my iPad because this is like a 2017 model. I know, pretty old. Like, no wonder it's laggy. So by itself, which, you know, which is read as hon. This means a book. So it's the first meaning if it's just by itself. So like similar to, you know, remember my example earlier? Let me just oh, there. Yeah. 私は明日エロ本を読みます I will read an erotic book tomorrow. Not gonna lie, like this also cackles me up to this day. Like, bruh. But yeah, the hon here means book. Like, ero means just like, you know, erotica. Yeah, the ero is basically a shortcut, like a abbreviation for erotica, which is erotic, you know? Anyways, back to business to defeat the Huns. So, I have their earlier Nihon, which means Japan. Although the Hon in that one takes the second one, the second meaning, which is basis. Hence, Japan is, you know, also known as Land of the Rising Sun, because what they believe that it's where the sun, it's in Japan where the sun rises first. It rises first in Japan before every other else, any other country, basically. At least that's a belief, you know. No, I don't think I have like put that yet. And yep, I did. Of course, this is also like used in name. In names. So for example, we have what is Fuji? Hold on, I hope I'm correct in this reading. No, I'm not confident. Let me check. Okay, got it. Oh my god. Yeah, this is just like a person's name, basically. Rokuro, is this the Fuji for Fuji-san? Like Mount Fuji? No. The Fuji for Mount Fuji is written differently. So yeah. Just a word of caution. And then let's go to our next character. Probably one of like the easier ones. This means person. Okay, don't blink. Done. Did you miss it? Again? So yeah, so the stroke is that one, and then the other one, the second stroke comes from the center here. So which means person. Okay? So by itself, this is just hito, which means a person basically. So how about for like yeah, it's mostly just that. Like let's have another example. So, for example, for this one, Nihonjin. So the person here takes the reading of Jin, which means this means a Japanese person. You know, a person from Japan. In fact, this notion can be extended to like anything. Something something jin. For example, a foreigner, gaikokujin. Gaikoku means foreign country. What else? I'm from like I'm an American. America jin. That's it. That's it. For example, a Filipino, Philippine jin. Like a person from the Philippines. So basically, country name plus jin. Chinese, Jugokujin. South Korean, Hankookujin. Or I think Korean in general. Of course, there are like for example, like how many people, like Tori, Futari, and then Sanin, Yonin, Gonin, so on and so forth. Like the special ones, like special readings, counters, and stuff. Ugh. So let's have this, for example. This is not Nijin, no. This is Futari. I know it's kind of weird. Like, why is this Futari? Futari. It's like hitotsu and futatsu. Instead of tsu, it's just three, hitori, futari. But then 3 and above, it becomes nin. Like, okay. And then we should... Okay, I think this could be our last kanji for today. Which this kanji means the moon or a month. Yeah, this time a bit more complex, I guess. Like a bit harder than Nichi earlier. So first stroke is like slightly curved, you know? And then second one is... It's basically this. And then 2 horizontal strokes afterwards. Okay? So by itself, this is read as tsuki. So by itself, it's just the moon. So how about like a specific month? So let's say so how about July? So let's say July. Shichigatsu. Shichigatsu. So for the months in Japan, in Japanese, it's actually just like 1 to 12. Just the numerical. So January is ichigatsu, and then February 2月、3月、4月、5月、6月、7月、8月、9月、10月、11月、12月。That's it. The numerical, just like the numerical equivalent of the month, and then gatsu. I know. So another example could be... So Getsuyobi. Getsuyobi means Monday. I'll explain next time how the days of the week in Japanese go. How about that? Like for now, just accept it to your heart that Getsuyobi is Monday, Nichiyobi is Sunday. Okay? But it's usually, you know, the pattern is usually something yobi. The yobi here indicates like the day of the week. Okay? You know what, lastly, just to feel a bit special, Gekko, which means moonlight. If you're thinking about Moonlight Sonata, yes. It all like it literally means moonlight, and I'm also referring to the Moonlight Sonata by Beethoven. Yes. So in Japanese, the Moonlight Sonata is actually Gekko. Yep. So yeah, I think these 6 kanji should be enough for today, as well as, you know, all of these like grammar. So yeah, I think we're good for today. Let me just like go back to Zatsudan for a bit, because I'll be like saving this as a PDF file. Oh, sorry, my tablet kind of crashed. I don't know why. Oh wait, hold on. Yeah, I'm just like currently saving my data, like this, the notes, whatnot. Okay, let's go back. So, as usual, I hope you've learned something new. So, once again, if you'd like to, I know I wasn't able to do this repeatedly enough for you to understand like the stroke order and whatnot, how to write it. Once more, gshow.org would be your best friend here. Like, let me actually check. There. Like, for example, if you want to search for something in kanji, like for example, something, you can like search for like radicals, like parts. For example, for toki, so we have like parts earlier, like the part for day, which has how many strokes? 1, 2, 3, 4 strokes. So this. And then on the top, like section 2, top right would be 3 strokes. This one. And then you should see it here. And then, like once you have like in the search, right? There's also like the kanji section here, where the stroke is actually provided here. There. All right. And you see here like the parts, you know? But yeah, Jisho is really helpful, particularly for those who are like beginner or intermediate. Even for like advanced to a certain extent. So yeah, with that, I think we can call an end to our classes for today, for our class for today. Stuko, that's not how it works. Also, thank you for coming. Shouldn't it be the converse? Oh my god. Okay. Bruh. Okay, who do we raid for today? Who do we raid? Any suggestions? Okay, 誰をレイドしますか？何かおすすめ、誰かおすすめとか。Sure, why not? Gagay, tanong ko, sino pwedeng i-raid? Hindi tula. Sa... Oh my god. Tangino. You know, it's like better when, you know, it's like misspelled on purpose. Like, tangino. Okay, no suggestions? I mean, like, who do I rate? Like, I don't have, like, I don't know anyone, like, in particular, like, today. Like, I can check for a bit. Hold on. Oh my god. No, not Taguro. Nor. Oh my god. You know what? You've been speaking Tagalog. Now I want to like raid someone who's Filipino. Lalabas ko ng aking dragon. Okay, let me stow my laptop because it's like right in front of my laptop. No. Like, let me stow away my iPad because I placed it on top, not on top, like right in front of my laptop. All right, so let us raid. Before that, the raid message. Hi. こちらのメッセージを使ってレイドお願いしますね。So, when we raid, please use this message. With that, let us raid. Okay. What is it? So with that, today's class is over! はい、本日の授業は終了しました。来てくれてありがとうございました。Thank you for coming! はい、それでは、迷惑の今月、閉幕と宣言します !So I couldn't... So this... well... The question of the conference has been concluded. See you next time.